Right, let's have a look at the 2013 question on algebra. It was question 8 on paper 1. Part A said express in its simplest form. So anytime you see pluses and its fractions, it's a common denominator. So a common denominator, in other words, is what fraction would fifths and quarters have in common, okay? And it would be 20ths. That's what a common denominator means. And I'd like to change these fifths to 20ths. So, let's try a shape and it might help me draw a proper circle. Okay, if I split this into fifths, anybody who knows me knows I can't draw. Okay, there's my fifths. Okay, so what I'm asking you now is, in one of these fifths, how many 20ths is there? Okay, and you'll tell me that there's 4. Okay, in each of these fifths, there's 4 20ths. Okay, and that's what we call an equivalent fraction. Okay, sorry, I can't draw. So in 1/5, that's the same as 4 20ths. Okay, and one way of figuring it out is, what did I multiply the bottom by? Well, I multiplied it by 4, so I have to do the same to the top. So they're what we call equivalent fractions. If you had a pizza and you had a fifth of a pizza, okay, that would be the exact same as having 4 20ths of the same size pizza. That is all equivalent fractions is, okay? So how do I do it? Well, that 5, you have to go 5 into 20, and that goes 4 times. So you're multiplying the bottom by 4 to bring it up to 20. So you have to multiply the top by 4. Okay, so it's 4 times what's on top. You leave the plus there. 4 goes into 20. So on the right-hand side, I have to multiply that by 5 to bring it up to 20. So therefore, I have to do the same to the top. Okay, what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Then you multiply it out. So again, over 20. 4 5s, 20. 4 by minus x is minus 4x. Plus 5x minus 20. Okay, you can see the 20 and the minus 20 cancel. Minus 4x plus 5x is 1x, or x, over 20. That's your answer. That's it in its simplest form. Okay, so common denominator. Okay, part B looks like a quadratic, except remember, any quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. You'll see that in the log tables over here. Okay, so therefore I need to bring that 4 over so that it becomes 3x squared plus 11x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, 2 ways to do this. It's a solve, so you could use the minus b formula, or you could factorize it. Okay, so let's try it both ways. So the factors of 3x squared, and they'll split into here and here. So 3x in one bracket and x in the other. Okay, you can see if I multiply them, I get my 3x squared. Now in the same way, I want the factors of minus 4, and they split into here and here. Okay, so I have a few options for minus 4. Okay, and this one is a little bit more difficult because I have to incorporate the 3 into it. Okay, and they have to add to give me 11. So 3 4s are 12. So if I use one of these 4s, and then if I subtract off this number here, I will get 11. Okay, so plus 4 here, and there's my positive. There's my positive 12x, and then minus 1 here. So it's the second line that I'm using. Okay, equal to 0. And when you have it written as its factors like this, you can split the factors and let each bit equal to 0. So 3x minus 1 equals 0. 3x, bring him over, equals 1. Divide by the number in front of x. X is equal to 1/3. Or from this bracket, x plus 4 is 0. Bring over him, x is equal to minus 4. And you can see this bracket had a minus in it. My answer is plus. This bracket had a plus in it. My answer is a minus. Okay, so that's how we would do it with factorization. Okay, I want to do it now with the minus b formula for you, just for practice. So a is the number in front of x squared. A is 3. B is the number in front of x, so it's plus 11. C is the number on its own, it's minus 4, okay? And that's why we had to bring that 4 over so that we had the right sign here. Okay, so remember your minus b formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X is equal to that. So sub in the values from here as they call them out, A, B, C. And you can see there's no x's in the minus b formula, it's just the numbers. So minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so that's x equals minus 11 plus or minus. So into my calculator, I'm hitting the square root of 11 squared minus 4 by 3 by minus 4 equals, and I got 13 over 2 3s are 6. And this is the point now where we split it into the plus or the minus. The first one is minus 11 plus 13 over 6, and I solved that. And my second answer will come minus 11 minus 13 over 6. Okay, and I should get a third for one of my answers and minus 4 for the other answer. Okay, because it's the same quadratic I'm solving, so it's just two different methods of doing it. Okay, and if you need practice at the minus b formula, I suggest you just get an example from your book and try it both ways to make sure that you're good. Okay, so let's hit the fraction button. Minus 11 plus 13 all over 6, and I got a third. And then minus 11, you can just hit the back arrow and change that plus to a minus, and I got minus 4. Okay, so you can solve that quadratic any way you wish. If the question said factorize, this is what they're looking for, and you stop there. Okay, so make sure you take note of what word is here. That's factorize. When you go to x equals, that's the solve. Okay, now let's try our long division in part C. Okay, so divide two x cubed plus x squared minus 13x plus 6 by x plus 3. Okay, so how do you do this? Well, you ask yourself, what must I multiply by x to bring it up to 2x squared? Okay, because what I want to be able to write down here is 2x squared plus something. Okay, and then I want to cancel those 2x squares. Okay, so that's the steps to this. That's where I'm going. So I'm asking myself, what do I multiply by that x to bring it up to 2x squared? Well, I definitely need a 2. There's 1x, and I need to bring it up to x cubed. So I need 2 more x's, or x squared. And then you multiply that by the x, and then by the plus 3. Okay, so when I was figuring out this term, I only looked at the x, but when I'm multiplying it in to get the remainder, I look at both terms. So 2x squared by x is 2x cubed, 2x squared by plus 3, well 3 2s are 6, x squared. Change the sign, and 2x cubed minus 2x cubed cancels. And I have plus x squared minus 6x squared, so that's minus 5x squared. I haven't used the minus 13x or the plus 6, so I take them down. And then I repeat the process. What must I multiply by x to bring it up to minus 5x squared? Well, I definitely need a minus. I definitely need a 5. I have one x there, but I need an x squared, so I need another x up there. And just like we did here with the two red arrows, I now multiply minus 5 by x and minus 5 by the plus 3. So minus 5x by x is minus 5x squared. You know you're right when you get the perfect match, including the sign here on your first term. Minus 5x by plus 3 is minus 15x. Change the sign, change the sign. Minus 5x squared plus 5x squared cancels. Minus 13x plus 15x is 2x. I haven't used the 6, take them down. And we do it again. What must I multiply by x to bring it up to 2x? Well, a plus 2. And then you multiply that by both terms on the outside. So 2 by x, 2x, 2 by 3 is 6. Change the sign, change the sign. He cancels, and I get my 0 at the bottom. So my answer, 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. Okay, it's the bit that's left over. Okay, so that was part C. Now, part D of that question is equation to words. So a company employs 2 drivers, John and David. Each has the use of a company car, and a small van. The company buys 30 euros worth of toll tags for each driver. Each time that a vehicle goes through the M50 toll, a charge will be deducted from the toll tags. John goes through the M50 toll 5 times in his car and 4 times in his van. He then has 750 remaining on his toll tags. David goes through the M50 toll twice in his car and 6 times in his small van. He then has 840 left on his toll tags. Calculate how much it costs for a car and a small van to go through the M50 toll. Okay, so you can see lots of words. So a car and a small van. Okay, so 2 unknowns. Therefore, you're looking at simultaneous equations. Okay, that is how we solve for 2 unknowns. Okay, I'm going to let C equal to car, V equal to van. Okay, you can call your letters anything you want. I'm just letting C be the price of a car going through that toll and V being a van. You can call them X and Y if you prefer. It doesn't matter, but just let the corrector or whoever's reading your question know what you're calling each letter. Okay, so if we look at John first, okay, John goes through the M50 toll 5 times in his car and 4 times in his van. So 5 times in his car. So this would be John. So 5 times in his car plus 4 times in his van. Okay, and in my head, that's why it's easier for me to let the letters equal like some word in the question rather than X and Y. But that's just a personal thing. If you prefer X and Y, these of course could be X and Y. The letter doesn't really matter. Okay, now how much did that cost? Okay, the question didn't tell us exactly how much it cost. It told us what was remaining. So for John, I need to go 30 euros minus what change he has left. And I've got 22 euros and 10 cents. Okay, so that's how much John has spent if he has 790 left. Okay, so 22.10. Okay, and then let's try David. David goes through the M50 toll twice in his car. So 2 tolls for the car and 6 times in the van. And he has 840 left. So he has spent 21.60 euros. Okay, And that's your simultaneous equation set up, okay? So if it tells you to develop an expression or come up with an equation, that's what they're looking for, okay? Those two lines there. This one didn't. It gave you the question all in one go, which is calculate the costs for a car. So I have to figure out what C is, and a small van. So I have to figure out what V is to go through the M50 toll, okay? So I have to cancel one of the letters. Doesn't matter whether I cancel the C or the V. One doesn't look easier than the other. I could bring them up to 10, or I could bring these up to what? 12. Okay, so I'm going to just bring the V's up to 12. So I'd have to multiply the top one by 3 and the bottom one by 2. Okay, so then I'd get 3 5s are 15C plus 4 3s are 12V equal to, don't forget to multiply the number by that by 3 as well, because one common mistake is you'd write down 2210, but it's not, it's 6630. Okay, and then on the bottom line, 2 by 2C is 4C, 2 6s are 12V equals to 2160 by 2, and I have 4320. Okay, put a line under it. They don't cancel just yet, just like they didn't here. We had to change the sign, Here we have to change the sign on one of them. One of them has to be a plus, one has to be a minus. Okay, so let's change the sign here to a minus. What I do to one piece of the equation, I have to do to it all. So I have to change the signs all the way across. Now plus 12 and minus 12 cancel. So let's then add up. So 15C minus 4C is 11C. 6630 minus 4320. I'm getting 2310. Okay, divide by the number in front of C. So I'm getting a car is €2.10. Okay, then let's find V. Okay, remember I can sub into either equation, whichever one looks the easiest. None of them looks more easier than the other. So let's just pick the top one. I now know that C is 210, so I can sub in for C. So 5 times 210 plus 4V is equal to 2210. So this is 5 2s are 1050 plus 4V is equal to 2210. Minus 1050 from both sides, or bring it over, whichever you prefer. So I'm getting 4V is equal to 2210 minus 1050. So that's 1160. Divide by the number in front of V. And I'm getting a van is 290. Okay, so a car is 210. A van is 290. Okay, so you can see as long as you have your key up here which explains what the letter is, or you do it here in words, it didn't matter what letter I called these, whether it was X or Y or P or Q or C or V.